what's up, guys? I'm going to kind of go over some of this research paper stuff with you. I'm sitting here at home. You're sitting here at home at this point. But if you're at school watching this, I wish I was there. Okay, but it is what it is. We're doing this stuff like we have to do it. So if you hear something in the background, that's my wife and my daughter in there doing some lunch type stuff, and that's what that is. But it's the same thing where you're at. We kind of have to make our own space and that kind of thing. So with the research paper, okay, we're going to create a folder first. That's something it's not exactly necessary for writing, but it's good for organization. So not everything with research is all about just writing a paper. Okay, I know that kind of gets that label of like research paper. It's this big, huge deal. I got to write really good for this. It's not really a whole lot of writing involved. It's more like a curation of information, like you're taking stuff from one place and putting it in another place. So the organization with this stuff is going to be really, really key. I'm not really good at organization. You can ask my wife probably. She'll tell you. So I have to cheat a little bit. Okay, so I use technology a bunch. So I'm going to show you guys kind of some of my tricks, some of the things that we need to try to utilize with this technology to help us out, help people like me that aren't very organized. All right, so research folder, that's our first assignment after you picked your topic. You need to pick your topic first. So right now, at this point in time, got 8 of you guys that have turned this in, okay? And then the rest of us are still kind of waiting on that. Let the secret out of the bag once you watch this. The first thing that you pick, I'm going to let you go ahead and do that, as long as you're able to actually research it. So I'll comment back to you, yeah, you're good to go with Zeus, yeah, you're good to go with Poseidon, whatever. The only thing is, if you have something that's a little bit weird, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but if you have something that's going to be hard to find stuff over, I might suggest something else. But once you pick that, now we're going here. Okay, so I've already posted this, and we had a Google Meet to go over all of these different steps and things. So I'm gonna do this again, but we only had about half of us show up to that Google Meet for whatever reason. Okay, but that's what we're doing here, is kind of reviewing what we already talked about with those people that were responsible enough to get in on that Google Meet. Okay, so on my instructions, it tells me to go to my Google Drive and create a new folder. So that's what I'm going to do. I've already done that. It's right here. Okay, but I'm going to go through that step again. Okay, creating a folder. Now, all I did here is I just pushed that plus button up here. Okay, it also told me to name it something. Okay, name it your God, your hero, plus research. So the example is Zeus research. So that's what I'm going to do, because I looked up Zeus. Okay, I got that. I click create. It might ask you to create and share. If it does, just go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, so I created that folder. I'm going to get into it. Double click on it. The next 3 things that I'm going to do, I'm going to create 3 blank documents. That's literally documents. That's my little girl over there giggling. Okay, so I click new, Google Docs, create and share. Okay. Now sometimes it'll kind of take a little bit for that to show up. Okay, but if I refresh, it should already show up as that's there. Okay, I might need to go ahead and label it. Okay, so go ahead. I know this is a little bit different on there, but I'm creating 3 blank documents, but name them. Okay, that's what I mean by label these by your sources. Source 1, 2, and 3. Say hi, Lila. Hi. Say hi. It's my little helper.
Okay. I cannot hear it.
I know, it's because Daddy's on my headphones.
But I want to hear it too.
No, it's okay. It's just me talking. Okay, so I label that source 1. Okay, you just click somewhere, it'll save. Now when I go back in here, there it is. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that again. I'll label this one if you can count. Oops. 2. I'm just pushing enter to get it to do that. Okay. It'll pop up here in a second. Oh, there it is. Okay, pushing it again. If you'll notice, I'm keeping these open. Okay. Oh. Okay. So in my Zeus research thing, okay, it's all my stuff's there. It'll take just a second. It'll pop up here in just a second. Okay, so I've got source 1, source 2, source 3. Guess how many sources we're going to have. Okay. All right, so I followed my directions up until this point. Okay, now step 3, I'm creating an MLA template style document. Okay, so I go here. I'm still in my folder. All right. I click new. Now to create a template, I can't just click this. I need to go to this little arrow, okay, chevron, all right, and then click from a template. Okay, so I'm going to pause for just a second. This is really important. You need to go here. Okay, create and share. All right, all this stuff pops up. Now this is cool to know that you can do this. All these different templates, like if you're writing a letter, you're making a poster, a brochure, all this kind of stuff. There's even a thing for like a recipe book down here. Okay, but we're doing an MLA report, and it says add-on right here. Okay, so that one has like a little extra, like, hey, pick me. Okay, so you have to actually click on the piece of paper above that, and that's where we're getting. Okay, cool thing about this. Okay, if you're my age, you had to remember all of the stuff that they told you in class to format the paper. Like, you had to remember your name, professor name, subject name, date in a certain order. The margins have to be, 1 inches. You have to have a header. It has to have your last name. It has to be paginated. Your title has to be centered. You have to tab over for your first paragraph. It has to be a Times New Roman 12-point font. It has to be double spaced. All that stuff, it's already done just because you clicked 2 buttons. You clicked that create, and you clicked the MLA formatted page. Okay, so it's already done for you. All you got to do is literally just fill in the information, and it'll keep it in the format that you need. Okay, that was a huge deal. Okay, for me going to college, like, I was like, crap, man, how do I do all this stuff and remember all this stuff? That was back in the day of typewriters and stuff, where you actually had to get a ruler out, man. So that's done for you. Okay, if you want to use EasyBib, okay, this always pops up. If you want to use it, that's fine. If you've done something maybe in junior high that you're familiar with it, that's fine. We're not going to use EasyBib. When I say we, I'm not going to show you how to do it because it's kind of become a little bit cumbersome for us. Okay, we're going to use MyBib, which is, it's another step, so don't worry about that. But if you want to use it, click use. If not, just click this X right here. Okay, but that's what we need here. My next piece of the directions tell me what to label this. Okay, so my name, okay, and the person's name that I'm doing. Okay, so that's what my paper is going to be labeled. So up here at the top where it says report, don't turn in report. Okay, turn in Zeus. And I'm only dude named Coach Eddie. Okay, so click somewhere, push enter. And I've done all of those things, okay, up to step 4. Okay, so I left all this stuff open for a reason. Okay, my next step, in a different browser window, do some research on your person. I say person, I mean either the Greek god or the hero that you picked. Okay, so to do that, literally all I have to do is click this little plus button, and then go here, and then click, or type in who I'm looking up. Okay, can't use usually the first thing that pops up, Wikipedia. I've got a story about that. I think I might have already told you guys about it, but I had a student back when I was teaching at another school make up a entry in Wikipedia over one of our coaches. He'd been there. It's kind of like a Coach Cagle type guy. Been there for a long time. Had coached and taught like 2 different generations of people. But anyway, I had this student go in and make a cite or a citation over this guy's name. And when you looked him up, okay, it actually brought up like Thor, the god of thunder, and like that this dude had founded the town that we were from. Okay, and it stayed there for a couple of years actually. Okay, so nobody took that away. So if you looked up Thor between, I think it was 2010 to 2013, somewhere in there, you probably saw Coach Daly was the guy's name. Okay, so it was linked to that. So I did that so I could show that Wikipedia is not a credible source, okay, to use for scholastic writing. Now, I use it all the time. It's okay to use for just quick information. Most of the time it's pretty good because they do have fact checkers, okay? But it can stay there for a while if somebody just wants to be a turd and write that stuff on there. Okay, that's why we don't use it as a citation source. Okay, so don't use Wikipedia. All right, this next one that pops up, this is actually one of our really good places to go. This is one that that I already put on there for you on the other assignment. So if you used that link that I put to find your person that you wanted to look up, this is the same website. Okay, so that's where I'm going. Okay, so to go here, that's about my person. Okay, it's got all this other stuff on here, but it's got a lot of information about who I'm looking up. That's what I want to get to. Okay, so my instructions say to, okay, copy and paste the entire website to one of the blank documents. All right. So to do that, I'm going to click somewhere on some words. Okay, I'm just left click. I'm going to push Control A. Okay, now that selects everything. Okay, you can click and drag. I know there's different ways to do this, but this is the easy way. So I just push Control A. Once it highlights everything, I'm going to push Control C. That copies everything. And then I'm going to go to my source one, click somewhere on the page, and push Control V. V is paste. Okay, it's not P. Control P is print. Okay, I think that letter was already taken. That's why I did V. Really don't know why, but that's what it is. Okay, and I wrote those on the board not too long ago. So that you might remember that from there. Okay. All right, if it says this thing up here, unable to create some images, that's fine. Okay, it's no big deal. We're not really worried about the pictures because we can't use those anyway. Okay, but all of this stuff is on my document for source one. So this is my source one. All right, so I got that. Don't exit out yet. You need to go back to it. Okay, and we need to copy the URL. That's all this information up top. Okay, so I do the same thing. Okay, Control C. Go back up to the top somewhere. If I have to push enter, that's fine. And Control V again. I want to have that for later. Okay, it's really important that I have that because I'm going to use that as kind of a bib entry thing. Okay, so I'm going to use that later. Yeah, that's really cool, baby. Okay, go on. Dave's trying to do his video. All right, so if I've got all this, this is going to help me out, okay, in a later process. Okay, so if you don't do this, it's going to be a problem for us later on, okay, because this is going to be there for our next step. We're going to need this URL. We're going to need the words in this. Okay, I'm not too super worried about all these pictures and stuff. Okay, but we need all this for later. All right, and I'm going to repeat that process for my source one and my source two. Okay, and further on. Okay. The same thing that I did, okay, same thing I did for that first thing. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Okay, I've already got my stuff there, so I can go back. So for my source 2, I'm going to show you guys another website that we've used a bunch in this, which is this theoi.com. A bunch of kids have used that. Now, I've seen some Greek gods and goddesses.net. That's okay too. these two right here are pretty good. Okay, for multiple. Okay, for multiple citations. Okay, because you don't just need one. Okay, you're going to need three. Okay, you're going to need three of those things. All right, so these are two credible sources. Okay, that you can use. You can either use this Theoi. Okay, that's probably mispronouncing that, or the Greek gods and goddesses.net. It depends on who you have. Okay, so for Zeus, it's pretty easy. I picked a really easy one. Okay, but for Zeus, you can find stuff probably anywhere. If you have somebody kind of lower on the totem pole, like maybe Artemis or something like that, you'll have to maybe look at a couple different places that have some good information about that person. Okay, but if you click on this, okay, the Theoi, okay, you can theoi.com. Okay, I go there, and that's some more good stuff. I'm gonna repeat that process. Okay, that Control A, Control C. Go to my next source, paste it. It takes a second. Okay, it's all there. Okay, and we'll go back up to the top. Now that's like 32 pages. Most of those are pictures though. Okay, we'll go back up to the top, push enter, and then take that URL, do the same thing, Control C. Okay, go back, my source 2, Control V, and there it is. Okay, so I'm done with those two sources. All right, source 3, we're going to leave that one blank. That one's going to be our book source. Okay, so we'll cover how to fill that in a little bit later. You're going to go to the library for that probably. Okay, so our librarian, Mrs. Moss, has already set out some books for us to use for this project. Okay, and we'll be able to go in there and get some of those, make copies, and I'll show you how to do that when you guys go over there. So that'll be Monday, Tuesday next week is when we'll cover that. Okay, so don't need to do anything for source 3 right now. Okay, but source 1, source 2, they've got stuff in them. Cool thing about this, okay, is they're already saved, and that's the neat thing about Google stuff, is it saves as you go if you're connected to the internet. All right, so the next thing that I need to do, okay, is turn in the folder that you created. Okay, so instead of just turning in the document, you're going to select that folder to turn in. Okay, so you're selecting the research folder. Okay, so it should say the person's name and research. That's what you're going to turn into this assignment. Okay. If you're having trouble with that, you can always just share it with me. And to share it with me, you can go up in here. Okay, and then literally just click this down button and share. Okay, and then type in JED. There we go. That's me right there. Okay, so you can share that with me. That'll work both ways. If you're it's a little bit tricky sometimes turning in a folder instead of a document. Okay, but if you see this, I should have 4 things. Okay, in my folder. Okay, I should have source 1, source 2, source 3, your person's name on a document with your name. Okay, and that's what we got. Okay, so that's the assignment, how to do it. Okay, and then this will really be a good springboard for us going forward with this assignment. Okay, this helps tremendously if we follow these first set of directions on doing our different assignments with all of these different documents. Okay, we don't have just one document we're working with. We've got 4, and we're even going to create a 5th one during this process. Okay, so 5 different documents for the same technical assignment, but you'll have a lot of different hoops to jump through and steps to go through to do this. Okay, so to help you guys out, this is like step 2. Okay, for the research paper, you picked your person. That's step 1. Step 2 is just creating all this stuff that you're going to work off of with a little bit of research. Okay, and then step 3 is when we actually start picking what we're going to pick from these sources to use for our paper. That's the most important part of a research paper, is kind of the curation of what am I going to pick for what. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, we'll work on this step by step, but get this stuff done so that we can go forward. It's really going to be important that we all stay on the same page going through this as best we can. Don't be one of those late guys. I'll just wait till the end and write it all on the same night. Not gonna be not gonna be good for us if we do that. Okay, so stay with us, stay step by step, and this will be a whole lot easier. Okay, so we're using technology to kind of better us with this process. All right, if you guys have any questions, email me. Okay, hit me up on one of these, assignment comments, something like that. Like, hey coach, could you go over this? You bet I can. Okay, and we can do like Google Meets and stuff. Okay, right here we just click a button and we can do that. Okay, so if I'm here at my house and you're there at school, okay, we'll be doing some of this stuff with instruction time. But if you need help, okay, wherever it is, like I'm not going anywhere, obviously. So just hit me up, and we can even do like the little Google Meet thing, and I can share my screen and work on whatever we need to work on. Okay, all right. See you guys hopefully Monday.